All right, let's talk about a huge Premier League match, Everton versus Arsenal. Now, this game wasn't about beautiful flowing football. Nope. This was all about pure nerve, intense pressure, and one really bizarre moment that completely shook up the title race. So let's get right into it.
So, right before this match even kicked off, the whole landscape shifted. Arsenal's big rivals, Manchester City, had just cruised to a win, and in doing so, they knocked the Gunners right off the top spot. All of a sudden, this away trip to Everton became this massive test of character. The pressure was on, big time. And there you have it, you can see it right there. Manchester City sitting pretty on 37 points, with Arsenal knocked down to 36. So the mission for Arsenal? Simple on paper, but, incredibly tough in reality. Go to a very difficult ground and get a win. If they didn't, they'd risk letting City pull away. The stakes just couldn't have been higher. So, first things first, how did Arsenal actually handle all of that pressure? In a game they absolutely had to win, away from home? Well, if you were expecting one of those classic, silky smooth Arsenal performances, you were in for a bit of a shock. This was a total dogfight. Goodison Park was rocking, and Arsenal just couldn't get into any sort of rhythm. It was physical, it was scrappy, and Everton were really dragging them into a battle. But you know how it is in these super tight games. So often, it all comes down to one single decisive moment. And that is exactly what happened here. The pressure cooker finally blew, and it led to the breakthrough. And here it is, the moment of madness. It's the 27th minute, Arsenal have a corner, and the Everton defender, Jake O'Brien, does something you almost never see a professional do. He jumps to clear the ball with both of his hands straight up in the air. I mean, it's just the clearest penalty you will ever see. An absolute gift for Arsenal. So who steps up to take it? Viktor Gyökeres. And this is where that pressure just ramps up to another level. The guy had a perfect record, having scored his last 18 league penalties in a row. So the question is, with the top of the table literally on the line, could he make it 19? And of course he did. He absolutely hammered it home. No messing about, no chance for the keeper. And just like that, from one totally inexplicable mistake, Arsenal had the 1-0 lead they so desperately needed. Now that penalty, that turned out to be the only goal of the entire game. But honestly, this win says so much more about Arsenal's grit than it does about their brilliance. So let's take a closer look at how they managed to grind out what we call an ugly victory. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the whole story. The performance itself, it was all over the place, kind of wasteful, really. But the result? 3 massive points, and a ticket right back to the top of the league. It's what people call an ugly win. And let me tell you, it's these kinds of gritty results, not the flashy 5-0s, that so often define a championship-winning team. And if you want proof of just how wasteful they were, look at these stats. Arsenal had 13 shots in the whole game, but only 2 of them actually made the goalkeeper work. And one of those, of course, was the penalty. It just goes to show how much they really struggled to create clear chances from open play. And honestly, they could have saved their fans a whole lot of stress towards the end. Both Leandro Trossard and Martin Zubimendi hit the woodwork in the second half. So yeah, it was a win, but by not taking those chances, they definitely left their fans with some seriously frayed nerves. Okay, so let's flip the script for a second and look at Everton. They put in all that effort, they fought for everything, so why couldn't they find a way back into this match? Well, a huge part of the problem was who wasn't on the pitch for them. They were missing key creative players like Iliman Ndiaye and Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, and it meant their attack was just blunt. It forced them to rely on strikers who've been struggling for goals all season. They had plenty of fight, for sure, but they just lacked that little bit of quality, that creative spark to unlock a top defense like Arsenal's. This expected goals, or XG stat, it tells the story perfectly. It basically measures the quality of the chances you create, and Everton's was a tiny 0.2. Compare that to Arsenal's 1.81. That massive gap just shows you that while Everton worked their socks off, they created almost nothing that was a real threat. So really, when it all comes down to it, for all of Everton's huffing and puffing, they never really created a single chance that seriously bothered Arsenal's defense or their keeper. It ended up being a surprisingly quiet day at the office for the Gunners' backline. So what does this hard-fought, scrappy 1-0 win actually mean for the big picture? Let's zoom out now and look at the new reality in this Premier League title race. And there you have it. Mission accomplished for Arsenal. They are back on top of the league with 39 points, now 2 points clear of Manchester City. They faced the pressure head on, they got the job done, and once again, they are the team everyone else is chasing. But this win leaves us with one big lingering question. You see, Arsenal have been in this position before, top around Christmas 4 times in recent history, and every single one of those times, they failed to go on and win the title. So after a gritty, determined, ugly win like this one, you have to ask, is this the year they finally have the steel to see it through? Is this the year they prove history wrong?